parents describe her as a wonderful girl who had so much to give. She was just 13 years old when she took her own life. Her parents say the bullying at school got so bad, she felt there was no other way out for her. Now they're suing that school, claiming administrators did not do enough to stop the bullying. Rosalie's parents, Freddie and Charlene, and their lawyer, Brian Claypool, join me now. Also, Leilani is here. Welcome, Leilani. Welcome to all of you. And thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know how difficult it's going to be. Yes. So, hi, Brian.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having me.
So, Charlene, tell me about your daughter.
She's just full of love, very funny, very caregiving, as in she thought of others and she liked to give, you know, and that was basically, she had a big heart. She loved.
So up until the age of 13, she was this happy, caring girl. Mm-hmm. And then what happened in school to change things for her?
She just started cutting herself, you know, from people telling her she was ugly, just degrading her in front of people and just, you know, just putting her down. And, you know, it affected her a lot. And as a family, it affected us.
So Freddie, people told your daughter she was ugly. How bad did the bullying get?
They would make fun of her shoes, tell that her shoes weren't real. We always bought her nice shoes, whatever she wanted, we got for her. And we bought her some real expensive shoes one time, and because they told her that they were fake, she wore them twice and then put them in her closet. They look brand new to this day. That was a year ago. They always made fun of her teeth when they were crooked. They made fun of her braces. They made fun of her style.
And did this all go on social media?
One of them did, where a boy he took a video of her, and she was sitting by herself, and he said, "Oh, look at the ugly girl sitting here." And then he pointed the camera to these other girls. Oh, here are the pretty girls, and here's the ugly girl, and here's the pretty girls. And it went viral in the school. And I addressed the school about it, and they said they couldn't control anything that happened with social media. And I said, what do you mean? It's happening in your school. And the principal said, no, well, we can't control that. And I said, well, we need to do something to. This was when my daughter was still with us. Mm-hmm. And so he just said, well, he didn't have no power over that.
So how long did this go on?
It was ongoing. It was ongoing from when she started 6th grade. She had crooked teeth, and she was telling me and her that she really needed braces. So we got her braces, and even though she has straight teeth, beautiful teeth, they were still making fun of her. And a couple of weeks before this happened, she would say, yeah, now they're making fun of me, you know, because they're still making fun of me, Dad. And I said, you know, honey, don't worry about what they say. I go, look at you. You're going to be America's Next Top Model. You know, you're this beautiful girl. I go, look in the mirror. And so, oh, you're just saying that because you're my dad. And I go, no, honey. I go, you are. This was her time to shine right now. She was just coming out and just shining.
13 is a tough age, right?
She just didn't see that.
So when did you notice she first started cutting herself because of the name calling at school?
The school called me up. I didn't know because she was wearing long sleeve, you know, 'cause it's fall and, you know, they have their sweaters on. And when she got home, I asked her, come show me, you know, your cuts, and she didn't want to show me, you know. And I saw a little bit of them before, and I was just like, why are you doing this? Why? And she says, it's nothing, Mom. It's no big deal. I go, it is a big deal. You know, I'm worried about you. I say, we're going to have to get counseling for you. And she had a hard time with that. Like, she didn't want to talk about her feelings.
And then the abuse continued at school.
Yeah.
And then did you have any inclination that she would take her own life?
No, not at all. I mean, this is a girl that laughed with you, talked to you, and asked what we're having for dinner, and just, you know, when I just can't understand. And to this day, I don't understand. I mean, why would she do that?
Who do you blame for your daughter taking her own life?
All the people that talk all those harsh words to her, that brought her confidence down. It just felt like, you know, they tore her down, you know, emotionally, mentally. And then as a family, we're torn apart over this.
You haven't buried your daughter yet, right?
No.
Right?
No, we're going to bury her tomorrow. Tonight we have services. And one thing I just want to say is that, like, you know, we're just saying, well, you know, the school knew my kids been being bullied there since we moved out there. My older son, my younger son, my daughter, Leilani, my daughter Angelina just got pushed down 2 weeks ago before this happened to my daughter, and her whole little face was disfigured it's barely
So
healing.
the same bullies who bullied your daughter, you say,
Yeah.
are bullying your whole family now.
Yeah, they just don't do anything to the bullies. They suspended the girl for 2 days. She came back. She broke somebody's wrist the next week when she came back to school, and they just don't do. It's a revolving door. They don't do nothing.
So, Leilani, you've been bullied at school too?
Yeah.
How so?
When people go up to me and call me names.
The same names they called your sister?
Just like, I don't know, just words trying to describe me, I guess.
Carol, Leilani was physically assaulted by kids at that school. Didn't you have a concussion from getting beat up at school? Same school.
So Brian, you're planning to file a lawsuit against the school. What, in your mind, did the school neglect to do?
Carol, every school district across the country has a legal obligation to safeguard kids from bullying. Just posting anti-bullying policies isn't enough. You've got to walk the walk. And I hear Charlene say, well, the kids, you know, talked down to her and they broke my daughter down. But the school is the gatekeeper. It's much like if you're at a zoo and you have lions in the zoo and you let the lions out, then the zoo's responsible. The schools are responsible for kids bullying other kids.
Some people might be listening to this interview and saying, well, the school did inform Charlene that her daughter was cutting herself. So the school was aware and at least called the parents to tell them of this behavior.
Right, but the school then, Carol, after that has an obligation to follow up. And Freddie will tell you that after Rosalie was cutting herself, none of the counselors followed up at all to find out how she's doing. Rosalie, what's causing you to cut yourself? What can we do to find out what kids at school are doing this so that we can do legitimate investigations on these bullies and have consequences for the bullies? I mean, much like child abuse cases, bullying, Carol, across the country is cloaked in a lot of secrecy. School districts don't want you and I and your show to know about the bullying because that tarnishes the public image of the schools.
You know, this is so disturbing because I remember just a few years ago, there were these huge anti-bullying campaigns going on across the United States. And obviously, if what you're saying is true, it didn't do much.
Carol, I mean, I have an 11-year-old girl. She was just bullied recently, and I will tell you, I had to clamor to get somebody's attention at the school she's going to. So I know firsthand, and that's why we've got Rosie's Law that we're going to propose. I know firsthand that school districts treat bullying as taboo. It's not good stuff for them. They brush it under the carpet. They try to resolve it internally. They don't even want to communicate with the parents of the bully, because that's bad news, because then those parents are going to get upset at the school, and then you've got privacy rights issues that I went through with my own daughter. Oh, we can't tell you whether there's going to be any consequences for that bully. And I'm thinking, how do we solve the problem then?
Okay. And then, so this law that you're going to propose,
Right.
What would that do?
Yeah, Carol, 4,400 kids have killed themselves this year. 4,400. Most of those attributable to bullying. Second largest cause of death among youth in this country, bullying and suicide. So what we're proposing, a few things. Number one, real quick, every report of bullying must be generated in writing by the school district. Because what school districts do, and I'm sure they're going to do in our case, they're going to say, we don't have written reports of the bullying. Well, guess what? Anytime a parent calls and reports bullying, whether it's physical or verbal, it's got to be written, number one. Number two, school districts should be required to communicate directly with the parents of the bully immediately to get the parents to intervene, to partner with those parents to try to stop the bullying. Number three, verbal bullying. Remember, words are weapons. Words can kill. We saw it with Rosalie. So verbal abuse needs to be treated on the same playing field as physical abuse. The way laws are set up across the country, Carol, physical abuse gets first priority. You can get kids kicked out of school easier if it's physical. Verbal, I mean, you got to have 4 or 5 reports.
Right.
And then the last part of it is we need to have on campus at every school in this country suicide prevention resources for kids. That should not be taboo anymore. Kids need to know where to go to safely seek intervention if they're seeking suicide. So that's what we're proposing nationwide.
Okay, we do have a do we have a statement from the school? All right, so I'm just going to read the statement right now because, you know, in fairness. So this is what the school said about this case. Quote, "We strive every day to be safe, supportive, and engaging learning environment. We will continue to raise awareness and work with students and the community to support our children. The issue of suicide awareness and prevention is very important to discuss and address as a community." And just before we take a break, I'm going to come back because I want to ask Charlene. So I read that, right? Freddie and Charlene. What went through your mind as I read that statement from the school?
I feel like isn't it a little too late to address it? You know, why does it take someone to be dead to take it seriously or to be important?
Well, hopefully there'll be improvements moving forward, and I'm so sorry for your loss. And thank you for sharing what is a painful story. Thank you too, Brian.
Thank you, Carol.
We'll be right back.